I've been racing for 32 years, and I, I've loved the sport since I was 5 years old. Um, and when we came across there was this moment where I got to speak with Joe about this potential project, Joe and Jerry, who asked me to come on board, and I jumped at the opportunity. Um, and to be honest, I'd been really trying to figure out what could be a stepping stone from racing one day, a kind of a side stepping stone of something I'm also really passionate about. And movies is one of those things that as I said, as I love pretty much as I do racing. Um, and so I got this opportunity to go back in the background where I got to meet up with Jerry and Joe at Jerry's office, the legend himself, and meet with Brad and go through this script. And it was all the big learning process for me. I'm learning how they like to work, all the processes that go in place to build and create a movie. I never in a million years thought I'd get to work with Brad Pitt. I've seen all of his movies, huge fan, and I think getting to the first time I actually probably I met him, I was in Jerry's office and we are going through casting, and Brad was on Zoom, so got to meet him in that split second. But then we got to go to a track, and I got to drive around with him. I got to learn that he's massively into motorsport and particularly bikes. Um, but then when we went round to track, I realized he's got a underlying ability actually to really drive, and I know it's a real passion of his to get behind the steering wheel. Having these two both go through the process of the mental challenges that we go through as racing drivers, the speed in which you're taking information in, also the effect of the body, how strong the brakes are, the G forces. I think it was really important for them. You can't get that. You can't fake that. If you've not experienced it, you can't imagine. And so I think it's really important. And they were so open-minded that, as I said, Brad, I think, had been following racing for some time, so you already generally had a bit of an idea. I think he had done some track days maybe before, so he kind of already had the gist of lines that you could take. But then when he got into the race cars, he realized it was even a bigger step from there. And then Damson starting from scratch completely. He's never done any track time, not knowing any lines, and so maybe even a steeper curve for him. But I think both of them got real appreciation for what being a racing driver and really means, and that's what you get to see in the film. Apex didn't stick out like a sore thumb. It was done so well. I think the approach from the whole team, everyone was so professional. Um, some people were racing fans before, and I think some were new to it and gained a lot of appreciation during the journey of being able to film at real races. This wasn't a set, you know. It's like unheard of. There's obviously some of the technology that Joe used when he did Maverick with the fighter jets. He's able to bring part of that technology into this, but also develop it and take it to another level. Yeah, I think it was really neat. I remember there was one moment actually. It was Budapest. It must have been 2023, and I got out the car after the race, and I hadn't even realized they were filming. If I'm really honest, but I went over to Brad, and I went over and like fist bumped him or something like that. Um, I think my emotions were going crazy because I just finished the race, so I wasn't really thinking. But afterwards, like, you got in the way of the shot. But it was really cool how they were there filming live, like, but they were never in a way. So it was really cool. I really wanted to make sure the film the cast was diverse, and making sure that women are seen on screen. So we've got the engineer, we've got the aerodynamicist, for example. She also works in strategy, but also one of the mechanics that's in the pit stop is a woman. And then you've got just diverse characters. I want people that are watching to be like, oh, there's a place for me there. and so maybe for kids they gotta get into STEM to become engineers. And so there's a big knock-on effect of possibilities and the positive effects. Hopefully, it will have. You're gonna be on the edge of your seat watching this film, because the sound. You've got Hans Zimmer. You've got the effects. The backfiring of the exhaust. You're gonna feel the adrenaline through this movie. And I've watched it several times, obviously, as we've been editing and working on it, and each time I get that feeling. So I know it's real, and I really, really know people are gonna get to feel that also. And that whole mixture of different worlds, we've just got, the mixture of emotions, the romance, uh, the the fights that you see, the close contact. Um, it's definitely gonna raise some hairs, I think, on people's arms.